create a story to distract or one to deliberately disinform. They own most every platform, and through their printed word, they can keep us calm or they can whip up a shitstorm, ignite any emotion and watch the people react until their agendas conform. They've had lifetimes to perfect their manipulative form, to mastermind it all, to puppeteer. They keep to proven methodology, the manipulation of emotional psychology. Fear is their tool, their template ever used. No fear, no control. So they bring us endless war. Only thing in flux is the enemy. It's a simple strategy. Hold us all in perpetual state of tension. Panic and fear will have all adhere. So create an enemy to have it appear. Fear is the virus. It's whatever they declare it is. Playing with emotions to ensnare. Fuck with the people. Hold us all in despair. It's psychological warfare, prescripted. Of this we must become aware. Whatever emotion are needed, they just media cue it to appear. Cue in their anger, cue in their fear, need support for their invasion, for pilfering, profiting and greed, or for central bankers' monopoly need? Easy. Manufacture in a humanitarian need. Cue the enemy and rev up the gear, terror, 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 and the nation's now in fear. A burner flag, false flag, red flag. Relentless media coverage hyped across all their TV channels and across all their paper rags. Consistency of headline tags creates an emotional trigger charge. The force is then made bigger, and before we know it, it's the people who implore, crying out with fearful vigor for some needs to be enforced. They've scored. That goddamn easy. They just got what they wanted and what they all along asked for. So please hear. We will require full attention in hopes that one might recognize the ever-employed Hegelian dialectic of problem, reaction, solution. It's their methodology on repeat, constantly replayed and reprised. So please listen up as we reveal this key manipulation technique. Create a problem. Most often something to fear. It can be illusionary or otherwise. It really doesn't matter. Result is the same, actualized, as it gets the people a reaction exactly as manipulized. After terror is propagated and public panic set in motion, order and safety become the new media buzzwords dominantly on the rise. All eyes as designed are now on the prize, distracted and drawn into the drama-rama. The public cry out to leaders to create order, and here they have their want readily realized, manufactured under pretense and manipulated guise. Given now their order, their legitimate excuse, the ones the public without realization of fraud and spin have now authorized, imperative cries of, get the bastards and whatever it takes to keep us safe. So in they march with their prescripted solution, the ones they wanted all along. Strategized and ready down to pre-adjusted laws. Take the Patriot Act, ready and waiting in the wings, simply waiting for the moment for public opinion to swing. And as freedom's now taken, directed and bidden, orchestrated, handed over and people given. Who loses? We do. Who gains? Follow that trail. Crisis management companies and think tanks exist to keep all of this in motion and hidden. They've cued themselves to the rescue. Not at all aggressors motivated by own self-interest. Oh no, humanitarian heroes of the hour, fighting always for values of liberty, democracy and justice. So goes the rhetoric of most histories past. With their missiles and their tanks all too often part of their solution. Killing toys for mothers' boys, expensive toys yet cheap boys. Taught how to kill browner, cheaper skinned boys. Murder and genocide, far too easily mimicking their console toys. This in and of itself is a pre-programming ploy. Dirty proceeds and the profits are theirs. Body count and financial cost to bear, never theirs. We ought to know this scam by now. They own it and they call it privatizing profits and socializing losses. In short, the rich can never fail. Figured out yet who the boss is? Look around one now. The hyper-Roma, just another preordained tip scale. Fraud now on global sale. One fit for the globalist, one world government agenda to prevail. Come on, snap out of it. Pull back the curtains and see beyond the veil. It's an open conspiracy. Just listen to their tales. Always an enemy, always a war. War on this and war on that. It's their favorite go-to motto. used to get any agendered reform, like how to get around the US Constitution and their want of the Second Amendment turned. They don't want people armed. For individuals, defense is a no-no. So have apparent kids run amok with weapons getting gun-ho. As a problem, all agree with the memo, and people's reactions are dominoed. The agenda's given life and in free flow, just as they wanted so. Give them a motto to rally behind, like BLM, but this time it's war on guns as the media-given logo. And now media is in full performance flow, engineering it all sidelined from the get-go, until public unite in demanding solution. Then in they step with their to-go manifesto. They've pulled off their wanted gun reform, restricting it bit by bit and in acceptable slow-mo. All in exchange, quid pro quo, for some highly dramatized school shows. Oh no? Just so. Or how about the real big one, like how to control consciousness and thought form? They are fearful of what we can manifest if one formed. Remember the Parisian yellow jacket becoming the People's Liberation uniform, till they did a media number on that, and then it was to the fascist born. Membership ideals were media turned, stopping more rebels to group form. Because of course to disassociate was the righteous reaction, the considered and thoughtful ethical norm. Those disenfranchised with real concerns were stopped in their tracks and U-turned. The real cause, UK fragmented, now spurned. All via one calculated mis-soul association that those who wore one were members of some far-right Hitler-respecting nation. For good folks, a problem was now set in motion. In one headline that overturned rebellion, fully and deliberately via their media, poof, transformed. So instead of augmentation, with further segmentation, their divide and rule solution. Just another typical media rap, public opinion and thinking hijacked. Protest against the 1% overthrown by the 1%. Who would have thought it? It's a weighted fight, a crooked die. They own both the narration and the means of its circulation. One needs reminding again and again, and one must repeat and repeat to reinforce that the charlatans who own the narrative likely crook a win, because it's endless repetition of their spin that sinks in. Capitalizing on neurons, it's a brain thing. If they need a situation to bring about their change, they don't wait for it. That would be inconvenient. Instead, they create it. They've got all the resources. For them, it's horses for courses. If need be, bring paid actors into the scene. Any scenario can come to be formed, make of any place a stage or a platform. Fake a fear or fake a situation, their favored way to domineer. In the land of the free, it was open doors to the capital, all were led up that hill. It was a great Washington welcome in expectant DC. Stormed, let right in, as was the censorship that performance was there to bid in. Research here, Ollie Donegard, leading researcher on false flags, psyops for orchestrated terror. He predicted the Capitol Hill riot. How? He saw clue in media's portrayal of the Nashville truck bombs, the psyops 1 month prior. It's going to sound far-fetched, so please allow one's thinking to be stretched. He learned that at each scene, they leave clue as to the next location for their theatre of terror. And using this rule with little error, he's come to be able to predict 63 times in advance the next location and even date of their terror. That hit rate got me delving further. It's the foreshadowing of a black swan event, which by very definition ought not to be predictable. Catastrophic, yes, by definition and by design. And that is why they're implemented, for their very effective effect. Public knee-jerked into reaction, strategy of tension, let us not forget. Research him, be your own inquirer. Decide then for yourself if it's conspiracy, reality, or coincidence theory. But be prepared to learn of theatre scenarios, stage terrors, bogus bombings, shame shootings, or make ready theatre for telly. It's cameras at the ready and the headlines too. It's pre-paced pallets on streets. Here's some bricks, now begin. It's agent provocateurs breaking up glass. Suddenly the looting begins. Oh, isn't that terrible, says Meryl, glued to her TV, already pre-decided for her which cause to be sympathetic to and which she should abhor. Tell a vision. It's pure programming, it's psychological war. Dramatized TV static, keeping minds hostage and emotional states erratic, in state of trauma and panic, and none of it organic. It's socially engineered. It's false flags and rhetoric, institutional think tanks and full mass media spin. It's psyops and puppetry and finance political muppetry. Order ab chow. Order out of chaos. Their motto, their mantra, their manufactured chaos. Behind every extravaganza, creating terror to terrorize, so in can stomp order, their control, and their order. You will own nothing and be happy. Part of their great reset pre-sale. Time to break their voodoo spell. Wake up to the global cartel. Fuck their great reset and their one world order. Time to join the people's groundswell. Spirit long time will not be quelled. Listen, hear the awakening bell. The solution, as always, is simple. All we need do is reverse its order. It's not even a doing, it's an undo. Stop reacting, and it's done. Stop complying, and we've won. Be one's own citadel, and from this place of will and strength, we flow back naturally to being one.